Hello and welcome to Exposed News Outlet, where we shed light on topics that matter most. My name is Andrea, and I'll be your host. Today, we're discussing Project 2025, ICE, and When Democracy Dies. Before we get into the movie, if I could just ask if you would please like this video if it speaks to you, share it on your social media platforms, and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps out a lot to get the facts out and the truth to those who need it the most. Without further ado, let's get to the video. When Democracy Dies, Project 2025 and the ICE Terror State. In Chicago this month, Black Hawk helicopters rained into a South Shore apartment. Trump's agents used flashbangs in children's bedrooms. Families were zip-tied and dragged from their homes in the middle of the night. This is not war. This is happening here on American soil. Operation Midway Blitz, September 2025. Call it a blatant attack on democracy and the Constitution. Watch this clip.
Are telling this unwarranted and unconstitutional occupation by ICE and potentially by military troops to get out of Chicago. You are not helping us.
The next few years, we're going to make our military stronger, tougher, faster, fiercer, and more powerful than it has ever been before. The apparatus of our country was not set up for merit. It was set up for political correctness. And you can never be great if you're going to do that. And we're going to be greater than we ever were before. Last month, I signed an executive order to provide training for a quick reaction force that can help quell civil disturbances. This is going to be a big thing for the people in this room because it's the enemy from within, and we have to handle it before it gets out of control. It won't get out of control. It's really a very important issue. And I told Pete, we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military.
this situation, Governor Pritzker denounced the intensified federal law enforcement presence In a press conference yesterday, the governor says the Department of Homeland Security is requesting 100 military personnel to be sent to Illinois. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi is directing agents to protect ICE facilities after a weekend of unrest in the Broadview ICE facility. Now, Attorney General Kwame Raoul says this deployment effort seems to be following the same pattern seen in Oregon, which is illegal. He says the president should expect a legal challenge if deployment plans move forward.
Who is talking to you? No. Hey, this is the line that they created.
Oh, shit. Laughing. We're getting new reports about a chilling and downright shocking escalation of ICE tactics against the residents of Chicago. In the middle of the night, hundreds of armed federal agents and police, backed up by riot trucks, smoke grenades, and helicopters, breached fences and busted doors in an immigration raid on an entire apartment building on the city's south side. They pulled dozens of residents from their homes and zip ties, including children, some of them without any clothes. They then held some outside for hours and dragged the others into rented vans.
It was scary because I've never had a gun put in my face.
Neighbors like Ebony Watson says they ducked for cover as they heard several flashbangs go off.
They was terrified. The kids was crying. People was screaming. They looked very distraught. I was out there crying when I seen the little girl come around the corner. Because they was bringing the kids out too. Had them zip tied to each other. One of them literally laughed. He was standing right here. He said, them kids.
They zip tied the kids together. ICE put out a statement saying they were pursuing Trinidad gang members. But U.S. citizens living in the building say they were detained too. The cops told them that if they had any unrelated warrants, they wouldn't be going back home. 37 people were ultimately arrested after agents separated children from their parents on the street. And if you're looking at this and asking yourself, how is this legal? That is the right question to ask. And it has kind of an answer. And to understand it, you have to go back to Los Angeles this summer, where federal immigration agents started pushing the envelope on orders from the White House. They raided Home Depot parking lots and Walmart lots, and they grabbed people they saw. Near one Home Depot, masked agents with batons grabbed Narcisco Barranco, who has lived in the U.S. for more than 30 years and has 3 sons serving the Marine Corps. Agents beat Barranco on the ground, dislocating his shoulder before detaining him. In Van Nuys, agents raided a car wash, remembering this, sending patrons and workers scrambling before the 79-year-old owner, who is a U.S. citizen named Rafi, tried to ask them what they were doing.
That is when Rafi was taken down by agents and eventually handcuffed. Rafi says he was injured in the process.
And they sit on me, it's in my elbow, about a week ago, and it's in my arm.
Rafi says he and 5 others at his car wash were taken to a federal detention center downtown. We're still working to learn more about why they were detained.
And that man is not alone.
Look how you got my hand, you're twisting that. I'm American, bro. Yo, these guys are literally based off of skin color. My homie was born here just because of the way he looks.
Agents kept stopping people they suspected of being undocumented immigrants for no reason other than they weren't obviously white. Like Brian Gavidia, the man you saw there, the 29-year-old American. He wasn't arrested, but he says agents went through his phone for 20 minutes and kept his real ID card. Now, these are obvious violations of people's core constitutional civil rights, their right to equal protection and the freedom from unlawful searches and seizures. And victims filed a class action lawsuit. And after an entire bench trial, a federal judge sided with those victims and ended the ICE sweeps. And in her ruling, she wrote, "It is illegal to conduct roving patrols which identify people based upon race alone, aggressively question them, and then detain them without a warrant, without their consent,
and without reasonable suspicion that they are with status. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. An appeals court upheld her injunction against ICE. You have to stop doing this. And so the Trump administration took the issue to the Supreme Court. And lo and behold, last month, the court's 6-3 conservative majority voted to just let Trump and ICE continue for now, as the case works its way up, to use racial profiling in their immigration raids, halting the lower court's decision, saying, go ahead. Now, they gave no reasoning or explanation for their decision, silent, except Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who wrote a short concurring opinion saying there's absolutely no problem whatsoever with racially motivated stops by law enforcement. Quote, if the officers learn the individual they stopped is a U.S. citizen or otherwise lawfully in the U.S., they promptly let the individual go. Welcome to the era of what critics call the Kavanaugh stop. Carte blanche for ICE to continue violent, warrantless raids and stops all over the country to undocumented immigrants, lawful residents, and American citizens alike. Like Leonardo Garcia Venegas. You see him there, being cuffed roughly by ICE agents on a construction site where he was working. Vargas showed the agents his real ID as proof of citizenship, and they told him he was lying. And it took hours to get him out of custody, so not exactly expeditious. And then, get this, 2 weeks later, ICE arrested him again at another work site. He's now suing the government. The consequence of all this is what we're seeing now in the dead of night in Chicago. Dozens of federal agents raiding an entire apartment building with kids in it just to see what they can find. It's the most egregious abuse of our basic rights as Americans I've seen in a long time, maybe my lifetime. And it comes 2 weeks after Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem posted a hype video of another violent ICE raid with helicopters and grenades, this time on a house in the Chicago suburbs. And guess what? 2 U.S. citizens were mistakenly arrested. You know, there's a reason the American founders put the right to be free from unlawful searches and seizures in the Bill of Rights from the start. Masked secret police profiling people and now targeting entire apartment buildings, making everyone prove they're not guilty of something, is the province of tyrants. It is the opposite of American. And I don't think Americans will stand for it, nor should they.
Section 1. What is Project 2025? The authoritarian plan. Behind all of this violence is a roadmap called Project 2025. A heritage foundation blueprint to centralize power in a single leader, purge independent institutions, weaponize federal police, suppress dissent, expand executive control, replace civil service, use executive orders. Every aggressive raid we see is exactly what the playbook predicted. Section 2. Recent abuses and human costs. ICE escalates aggressive ICE raids in Chicago. Since September 9th, in Operation Midway Blitz, over 500 people have been detained, kidnapped off the streets. Watch this clip of Governor Pritzker shows military-style ICE activity.
Last week, federal agents dressed in camouflage gear conducted a military-style raid on an apartment building in South Shore, a neighborhood of Chicago. They brought Black Hawk military helicopters and more than 100 agents in full tactical gear. Even though it was supposedly a very dangerous and important mission, they brought dozens of cameras and set them up so that they could film their attack on the building in HD for social media. See for yourself. So even though they documented the raid, their propaganda video conveniently left out important facts. In the dead of night, and seemingly for the cameras, armed federal agents emerged from the Black Hawk helicopters, rappelling onto the roof of that apartment building. According to media reports, the agents ransacked multiple apartments and detained almost everyone in the building, including U.S. citizens and children who had done nothing wrong. Witnesses told reporters that federal officers zip-tied the hands of people, including children and seniors. Some, including U.S. citizens, were detained in the back of vans for hours. Seemingly proud of this shameful treatment of innocent people, they recorded it, and Kristi Noem posted the video, bragging about the operation. Since we sat through that propaganda, I think it's important to hear directly from members of the community who experienced this takeover of the building.
Neighbors like Ebony Watson says they ducked for cover as they heard several flashbangs go off.
They was terrified. The kids was crying, people was screaming. They looked very distraught. I was out there crying when I seen the little girl come around the corner because they was bringing the kids out too. Had them zip tied to each other. That's all I kept asking. Where's the morality? Where's the human? One of them literally laughed. He was standing right here. He said, them kids.
Watson says budget trucks and military-style vans were used to separate parents from their children. Other neighbors say...
All right, let's move on. No one can hear it, although ABC 7 gets credit
for it. They had a big 15-inch chainsaw with a round blade on it, cutting this fence down. We're under siege. We're being invaded by our own military.
The FBI did confirm this morning that they did help the U.S. Border Patrol carry out a targeted immigration enforcement operation in this area, and they say they have been supporting these efforts at the direction of the U.S. Attorney General.
Imagine being a child awakened in the middle of the night by a Black Hawk helicopter landing on your roof. Imagine an armed stranger entering your home and forcibly removing you from your bed, zip-tying your hands, separating you from your family, and detaining you in a dark van for hours. This didn't happen in some faraway authoritarian regime. It happened right here in Chicago, right here in the United States of America. The reports of excessive use of force against children is unconscionable. And the way many innocent residents who lived in the building were treated is appalling. In response, I've directed the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services and the Illinois Department of Human Services to provide support and to evaluate the treatment of the children who were traumatized. If they find suspected abuse or neglect by federal agents, the state will be taking every possible action to hold those individuals accountable. Now, I'd like to turn to some examples of the more egregious actions that we've seen from ICE, CBP, and the other federal agents. Over the past several weeks, it has been made abundantly clear that Trump's invasion force is not going after the worst of the worst, like he said. They're harassing and detaining many people based only on the color of their skin. Tamale vendors, delivery people, people looking for work at Home Depot, and even families just out and about enjoying themselves on a sunny day. Dasha Ramirez, an 8-year-old girl, and her family were detained by federal agents while enjoying a day in Millennium Park. Witnesses saw her crying and clutching her doll. Honestly, what danger did they represent? What is it that they presented that was so awful? And how did detaining them make anyone safer? Federal agents have been openly carrying assault rifles downtown, racially profiling people, and based on that, demanding proof of citizenship, and snatching people up in our neighborhoods without a judicial warrant. All of it rightfully has Illinoisans very upset. In the small suburban village of Broadview, with a population of 8,000, federal agents have turned 2 blocks of protest areas into a war zone by firing chemical agents and tear gas at peaceful protesters. They've used rubber bullets and flashbangs. Agents reportedly unholstered their guns and pointed them at peaceful protesters. They arrested a journalist who was a bystander, and they fired a chemical weapon at a CBS reporter in her car. They even detained Juan Munoz, an Oak Park trustee, and they're detaining people for extended periods in a facility not designed for that purpose. After seeing this, I could not, in good faith, allow federal agents to continue inciting people who were there to express their First Amendment rights. At the request of the Broadview Police Department and with the help of the Cook County Sheriff's Office, we sent backup to ensure people could safely express their rights while also protecting nearby Broadview residents who have had ICE and CBP operating in their neighborhoods in an aggressive fashion and interfering with their daily lives. As someone who has myself peacefully protested since I was a kid, I understand the sentiments on the ground from some of the advocates, but I want to say this: peaceful protesters are welcome. Federal agents who abuse their position to terrorize Illinoisans and incite violence are not welcome. They aren't receiving any orders from Trump to cease and desist their aggressive behavior. Remember, they answer only to Trump, not to the people of Illinois. In case there's any doubt about that, Noam, Bovino, and their agents have been escalating the situation outside the ICE facility and inhibiting the Broadview police from doing their jobs. At one point, state police asked CBP leaders for time to move the crowd to avoid any unnecessary confrontations. Rather than give state police time to protect the protesters and the ICE agents, Kristi Noem chose to drive her motorcade through the protesters to create clashes. Shortly after, Bovino came out to threaten mass arrests. These stories are only scratching the surface. While all of this happened, we got reports that tear gas was unnecessarily thrown by agents at people on a busy street in Logan Square, right near an elementary school and a grocery store. A Chicago alderman at a hospital asked masked officers some questions about someone that they detained, and she was arrested for it.
Burn your laws. He has constitutional rights.
No.
He has constitutional rights. Do you have a sign?
No. You need to leave.
For him?
Turn around. You're turn around and leave.
He is under.
I'm going to arrest you if you do not leave. You are going to be placed under arrest. Turn around.
Do you have a signed judicial warrant for him?
Can somebody go in the hallway and get Lisa for me, please?
Signed judicial warrant for him.
Can somebody go in the hallway and get Lisa for me? This is an older person who's being under arrest. I need my other staffer who's in the hallway by registration to come here, please.
You are hurting. I am asking. I am not.
Can somebody get my staffer, please?
This is a hospital. Do you have a signed judicial warrant for him? I am asking. I am asking. I did not touch you.
We told you to leave.
I did not touch you.
Now you're under arrest for impeding.
I did not touch you. I asked you if you had a signed judicial warrant for him. It is very simple. It is very simple. That man has constitutional rights. I did not touch you. It is a public space. I am not trespassing. I am asking you. Do you have a signed judicial warrant? I am asking. Do you have a signed judicial warrant for him? It is a question, sir. You are an agent. You are a federal agent.
We do not need a
You are a
warrant for
federal
somebody
agent.
under
I am an
arrest.
elected official, and I am asking. Do you have a signed judicial warrant? I'm the alderman of this.
Can you keep recording? I need a call.
If arresting an elected official for peacefully asking questions isn't a demonstration of authoritarianism, then what is?
In Franklin Park, an ICE agent shot and killed Silverio Villegas Gonzalez as he dropped off his child at school. It's so sad. Unnecessary and wrong. Journalists have been body slammed, protesters tear gassed, and pepper balled. Even a Presbyterian pastor was struck in the head by a pepper ball. Let me show you a clip. Cities are fighting back. Chicago just signed an order forbidding ICE from staging raids on city property. Section 3, Epstein Files, Transparency, Chokeholds, Institutional Capture. Newly released Epstein Files reveal high-profile names. Republicans delayed seating Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva, allegedly to block a House petition that would force Trump DOJ to release Epstein's client list. This is procedural tyranny, as they try to drag on the Republican government shutdown to block her from being sat. DOJ hidden camera. Watch this clip.
Well, those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files. Leave all the liberal, Democratic people in those files.
Did they visited that Maxwell person?
Yeah.
And also involved?
She got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender. They're offering her something to keep it on shut.
That was the acting deputy chief of the Office of Enforcement Operations, Joseph Schnitt, telling a stranger about the FBI and DOJ's handling of the Epstein files. Schnitt, who works at a high level inside the Department of Justice, goes on to comment on the inconsistent statements, special treatment of Ghislaine Maxwell, and the blatant backtracking on promises of transparency.
And what do you do for work again?
I work for the Department of Justice.
Okay.
Been there like 23.
DOJ claims no client list, but forensic experts found metadata suggesting the prison surveillance video was edited. Section 4. Why this is fascism. Spiritual resistance. Fascism is more than tyranny. It demands a synergy of power, ideology, and scapegoating. Christian nationalism, or Christofascism, fuses religious identity with state violence, telling dissenters they are enemies of God. Project 2025 pushes that too. Propaganda works by repeating simple stories. Terrorist organization. Protest attack. We must crush enemies at home. That is psychological warfare and lies. Antifa is not an organization. It means anti-fascist. Oversight raise. But the people still have power. Congress forced a partial release. Local resistance, courageous journalism, and whistleblowers are our oxygen. Closing call to action. This isn't some foreign dictatorship. It's here. It's now, and we are watching families ripped apart, institutions hollowed out, truth being buried, and capitulation. We must not obey in advance. Demand independent probes. Demand the release of all the Epstein files. Demand that courts and Congress act as guardrails and do their jobs. Otherwise, they're complicit in treason, more or less, against the United States. I want to thank you for watching the video till the end. If you watched all the way to the end, please go ahead and leave a blue heart down in the comments box so I know you watched till the end. And if you could please leave a like, share it on your page, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel as we continue to shine a light on topics that matter most. As always, be kind to yourselves and be kind to others. Thank you.
Phone. You cannot. Oh.
That's illegal, sir. That's kidnapping. Hey! 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 Stop that shit! Hey! You need to get off of her right now!
Get off! Get the fuck off!
You stole her phone! Hey! Call 911! Someone call 911! Call 911!
Get back. Get back.
Someone call the police! That is assault! That is kidnapping of her phone! That was illegal!
What's your name? What's your badge number?
Someone call 911!
You legally have to identify yourself. This is a part of the Constitution. Identify yourself. What's your name?
Who are you?
What's your name?
Shame! Shame!
Legal.
Shame!
I'm underpaid. You're done. I'm underpaid. Straight from the United States, bro. You better break his neck. Bro, you almost killed me, man. I was in school, bro. I was going to school.